You know that feeling when you walk through the gates at Glastonbury and suddenly everything just makes sense? That feeling you carry around for weeks afterwards? Yeah, that one. Welcome to the 100% unofficial Glastonbury Festival podcast. I'm Paul from Glastonbury Tips, and every episode I'll sit down with someone who truly gets it. Fellow Glasgow obsessives, veterans, and anyone who's ever stood in a field at 3 a.m. thinking, I am home. So pull up a camping chair, grab a cider, and let's talk Glastonbury.
Hello, friends. I hope you are all doing well. Welcome back to another episode of, dare I say it, the number one show on Apple Music. It's the 100% unofficial Glastonbury Festival podcast. This guest, guys, this is a special one. There are people who love Glastonbury, and then there are people like our next guest.
Changed his name by deed poll. He loves the festival so much. He also proposed and got married down on Worthy Farm.
On top of all that, he set up a charity bin initiative where people or organisations sponsor a painted bin at Glastonbury. And so far, it has raised a phenomenal £50,000 for charity.
So it's no exaggeration to say that Dan loves Glastonbury. We can't wait to hear his story. Dan, tell us about the magic of Glastonbury. What was your first experience?
My first experience was, if we go all the way back to 2004,
Yep.
which seems like yesterday, which makes me feel old because it definitely wasn't yesterday. My friend was I wanted to go to Leeds Festival because it had the lineup of all the bands I wanted to see. And my friend was like, nah, we got to go to Glastonbury, which I'd never heard of because I'd only lived in the country for a couple of years at this point. So he sat down with me and we looked at eFestival's website every day for like the whole of the summer. And he got me on board. He was like, it's more than music, man. It's all this other stuff. It's like, it's a proper festival. And yeah, it blew my mind.
I can imagine. 2004 and good old e-festivals. I used to look at that religiously as well.
Again, makes me feel old, but kids these days, they don't know, man. I don't know what it was like before social media when you're looking through an old school forum at just people writing about maybe a couple of pictures. As a first experience, I was very lucky because I was only 16. We got permission from our sixth form head to get time off school to go. There's a group of 12 of us. 2004, 2005 was kind of the end of that kind of period of Glastonbury.
Mm-hmm.
After the floods, after 2005, when it came back in 2007, it was a very different festival. So I'm just very grateful I got to experience those last 2 years of what it was like before those changes happened.
Of course. How did you get there? Were you all 16 at the time?
Mm-hmm. 12, 16-year-old boys trying to organize their first trip to a festival. We hired a minibus driver to drive us down.
Okay.
And then we stayed in the village for a couple of days before. And the Glastonbury itself as a place was completely different than anywhere I'd ever experienced before. I was raised in Georgia, in the deep south of the US, very right-wing Christian conservative kind of place. Glastonbury Village is not like that. It is the antithesis to those things. So yeah, it really opened my eyes to a lot, just the village did. And then we arrived, at the festival and set up in Pennard's Hill. We had a gazebo back in the days when I felt like there was a lot more space in Pennard's Hill because no one really showed up on the Wednesday or Thursday at that point.
No, they didn't.
People were like, music doesn't start till Friday, so why would you get there early? But again, my friend who convinced me to go to Glastonbury instead of Leeds was like, you got to go on the Wednesday because there's so much to see and explore.
That's it. We actually have an episode all about Wednesday and Thursday at Glastonbury.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, two separate episodes because it's our favourite time. We love Wednesday and Thursday. For people who've never been, they say, how can it be your favourite time there when there's no bands on? You're like, once you've gone, you'll realise why.
100%, because people will ask me, like, why is Glastonbury so good? And I'm like, I've been to loads of other festivals, but other festivals are music, and that's it, really. But Glastonbury is music with all these other things. So actually, your favorite band comes on, and you're like, oh, this is kind of annoying that my favorite band is on. All these other things are happening. And now I got to go see, like, Gorillaz or Chemical Brothers or, someone I've always wanted to see on. Oh, darn, how annoying. And like that, having that be your main problem is the best. first world problem to have.
Totally. And that's actually a perfect segue for me to say, what was some of your favorite memories down on the farm?
I'm sure any person who's been going for a while knows they all kind of blend together.
Yeah.
It's hard to separate what year happened when and what was real and what was a dream in the most PG friendly way possible. I've been very blessed to experience the festival in a lot of different ways. So like I started as a teenager, just going to the festival. And then I had a girlfriend who was working there. She told her boss about me and got me a job. So then I got to work there. And then I started doing the other things that I do there. So I've got to see it from multiple different viewpoints, experiencing it young, experiencing it older, experiencing it as a single teenager, experiencing it as a married parent. There are all these different variations. Each version of the festival is beautiful its own way. And there's not really one that's better than the other. But getting to like be picked out to climb the ribbon tower at like 3 a.m. by a load of supervisors who just kind of want to mess with people's heads, or being picked up by like a train and they're like, yo, get on the train, and not really knowing where the train came from or where it's going, and being taken off on an adventure, dancing at like 4 a.m. with police officers, drag queens, and a pantomime horse in Las Vegas. That was like my first year. For a 16-year-old deep South Georgia America boy, it was really the thing that made me see the world could be so many other things than what I expected at that point.
Oh, so true. You changed your name to Dan Tastic Glastonbury by deed poll. What is it about the festival that makes us all do these things? Like, you've changed your name. You're a boy from Georgia in the deep south of the States, never heard of Glastonbury, and you've changed your name to have Glastonbury in your name. How did that come about?
I wanted a new name anyway. I had cancer when I was 19.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's all right. God bless NHS, but I was very, very ill. I had cancer the same year that Kylie Minogue had cancer, so the festival took a year off for us both, which is very kind. Thank you, Glastonbury. And then when I got better, my mom bought me a book of things to do before you die, which was like a bucket list book. I kind of just started working my way through those things, having cancer and getting better, the festival, moving from one continent to another, this book, they all kind of just amalgamated in me having this big life change and wanting to experience life all for the better. And so I decided to change my name. My previous name, surprisingly, Greenberg, when I looked up the meaning of it recently, Glaston is like Celtic for green and Berry is like Saxon for berg.
No.
So yeah, I know. Wild, right? I had no idea when I changed it at the time, but I changed my name from Glastonbury to Glastonbury in a roundabout way.
That's amazing. What was people's reaction when you told him you're going to change your name to Dan Tastic Glastonbury?
I mean, my mother at the time, I think she was very surprisingly accepting, but also a bit like, oh my goodness. My friends just thought it was cool. I mean, it's been, I think, 15 years since I changed it. I kind of forget I ever had another name. Sometimes when people have to put Tastic down to do a bank transfer and I have to explain that my middle name is Tastic, and that could be a bit silly at times. I needed a new name, and Glastonbury, like, it sounds like a surname. It meant a lot to me. It influenced me more than most other things. And it sounds cool. And all those things together, I think, for a lot of people, Glastonbury is the thing that changes their life in one way or another. And for me, I changed my entire life because of Glastonbury. Like the path I was on is completely different to where I am now. And my life now is kind of like just living in Glastonbury, because my job, I go into schools and I get to do like performances about history. So I get to wear costumes, I'm getting to play pretend, I'm getting to like be silly all the time. I'm getting to hang out with little crazy people who don't know what's going on. And so much of that is very similar to my experience every year at Glastonbury.
I'm totally with you. I'm so with you. It's like, it changed my life. And here I am now with a podcast and a book and a website, all on the same subject. And if you'd have told me at my first one that this would happen, I'd be like, what have you been taking? No way. So I totally get what you're saying, how it changed your life. And then that leads me to, in 2017, you proposed to your girlfriend, then girlfriend Emily, not Evis, listeners, not Evis, a fellow bin painter in the theatre and circus fields, and then got married there in 2019. Tell us about those early memories of meeting Emily on the farm, and what was it like getting to know each other while helping set up the festival?
I actually said to my friend, because that was my first year as a supervisor,
Okay.
during the painting. And I saw her get off the truck, walking across the field of her little backpack and a little tent. And I pointed at her to my friend and went, "Oh my goodness, I'm going to marry that girl."
No.
Which he likes to remind me on a yearly basis. So that was nice. It was nice for Glastonbury to introduce me to my future wife. I've been on over 100 internet dates through like Tinder and stuff over like the 5 years before meeting her. The fact that the girl I actually married was someone who I met in real life at my favorite place. And she only got the job because she was an artist who did background for theater and film. And she wrote a letter to head office saying she'd like in some way to take part in the festival. And they put her in touch with my boss, who got her as a volunteer on the bin painting. And so it's like, if she hadn't written that letter, I would have never met her. I was actually living in Australia that year, and I only came back last minute to be a supervisor on the bin painting team. I was like, I might skip Glastonbury this year because I was having such a good time in Australia. But I made that decision last minute to come back. And if I hadn't made that last minute decision, I wouldn't have met her. A lot of sliding doors that we met. And what a place to meet someone, what a place to get to know someone, what a place to fall in love with someone, what a place to propose to someone, and what a place to marry someone.
I know. I mean, those ley lines are very, very powerful. I mean, yeah, you got married there. What was it like? Did you get married during while the festival was on or before?
Legally, you cannot get married at the festival. They just don't. There's not a license. You have to be indoors with a roof over your head that's registered. I'm actually a humanist celebrant, so I perform a lot of festival weddings during Glastonbury every year. But I'm a humanist celebrant, and humanist ceremonies are not legal in England. We had like a legal wedding in March and then a festival wedding there. Proposing was great. I got asked to do a talk about the charity bins that I do every year and the money that we raise. And I convinced her that we were going to pull a name out of a hat with a prize. So she came up. My wife is not as much of an extrovert as I am, but I convinced her to come up on stage in front of 10,000 people, pull a name out of a hat, and everyone was like, "Whoa!" And then I dropped down to one knee, and every piece of paper said, "Will you marry me?"
That's amazing.
Oh my God, the roar of the crowd, the guys from Newsround were there filming. It was really nice. And to get married on that stage, same place, a couple of years later was really nice as well.
I mean, yeah, what a place to be. But as you said, propose and then get married. Like we did a festival type wedding because of Glastonbury. Basically, me and my wife Karen. We didn't do it at Glastonbury. We did it in Italy, but we did the same as you. We did a legal one and then did like a festival type wedding in Italy. But yeah, maybe one day we'll renew our vows somewhere in Glastonbury.
Well, you ever need one? Give me a shout.
Yes. In 2011, you set up the charity bin painting initiative. By last year, you had raised over 50,000 for Care International UK. Where did that idea come from? Because I know there was bin painting already since the 80s. How did that idea of like doing this charity bin painting come up?
I can't remember, to be honest, whether it's 2004, 2005, but at one of those, Make Poverty History was a thing.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And you got like the little band when you went to Glastonbury. And I think up until that point, like I didn't really have any awareness of like how much the world was struggling in so many ways. And I think Make Poverty History like opened my eyes to like how many things need fixing and how much privilege we have in the West and how much power we have to actually help with those things. And I think from that point onwards, I just became quite a charitable person. I just enjoy doing things that help other people. And so I've always tried to raise money for charity in different ways. And so when I went to my first bin painting, I did raise money for charity, painting the bins.
Okay.
And that was with MAG, who's the landmine charity. My housemate at the time was working for them. But then the next year, I thought I'd do a different charity every year. And so I looked up who should I pick next time. And I was reading a book called Blood River. And there's just a bit where they were talking about people from Care International.
I've read that. Is that about Congo?
Yes. Yeah. The guy's like following the path up towards along the Congo River. Amazing book, right?
Yeah.
He talks about Care International. I was like, okay, these guys sound great. They're kind of like Oxfam, doing the same kind of thing, helping a lot of people around the world. So I decided to pick them. And they were just very receptive and very grateful for the money that we raised. So I thought I'd just do it again. And this time we paint more bins and charge a bit more. And we just kept doing that, painting more bins, charge a bit more. And now like you say, raise over 50,000. Because like the first year, I think I raised like £50. But now we're raising about £10,000 a year.
That's amazing.
It's great, right? I mean,
Brilliant.
We're going to paint the bins anyway. Might as well paint them for people. Because that's what's so nice about it, is it means that we get to give people a little bit of the festival to themselves. So people have proposed via bin. People have celebrated the birth of a child. People have celebrated new jobs. People have celebrated getting married. People have, in memory of those who have passed, who love the festival, in memory of pets. Really, the most important moments of people's lives have been captured on a bin.
Yeah, but they're not just any bin, are they?
And that's the thing, to you, to a festival, to a Glastonbury lover, they understand. People who have never been don't understand. And when I try to explain it, they're like, people propose with a bin, like in the sky. I'm like, you don't understand how amazing that is to someone who loves this festival.
We're sitting here talking about bins, and as you said, if you've never been, no pun intended there, you think we're crazy. But this is, I think, it all starts with the bins in a weird way, because if you put so much love and effort into a bin, imagine what it goes all the way up to the pyramid stage, that every element of that festival is done with love and art and care and passion.
To a punter, as we would call all the people who don't work there, I have no idea how much effort is going on behind the scenes up until the day that people arrive, even during the day of the Wednesday, sometimes into the Thursday. And it's like, all those benches, they all get painted. Even if they look already decent from last year, they get repainted to make sure that they look nice together. You probably don't realize during the actual festival, because there's so many people, but the bins in the pyramid stage, they're done in rainbow clusters going all the way up. And if they're done incorrectly, someone goes out there and rearranges all the bins so it makes that perfect rainbow going up the hill.
Well, I didn't know that. I can't wait to see next year and look out for that.
And all the poles, they've got to be painted real well, because Michael Levis drives around in his 4x4. And if those poles aren't painted up to his standard, he'll call up and be like, "Oh, you've been looking at them poles, and you don't think they're painted all the way down to the grass."
That's amazing. That's it. It's that attention to detail. I remember Michael Levis a few years ago. His favorite new thing that was happening at the festival was they put springs on the doors of the long drops, because the long drops used to just slam. And, you'll be asleep at 5 in the morning and hearing these goddamn doors slam all the way through the night. And he added these springs that obviously just stopped that slam. And he was on video saying, "This is the thing, not the headliners. This is the thing I'm looking forward to the most."
I think it's when you organize something big, the little tiny differences that make a big difference that you don't even think about, like removing that slamming noise day in, day out, 24/7, as you say, while you're trying to sleep. It's probably the least exciting bit of the festival. And yet it's probably makes a huge difference to thousands of people without them ever thinking about it.
Exactly. You've done weddings at Glastonbury. You've changed your name to have Glastonbury in your name. You've painted bins. You got engaged, you got married, and you also perform at the festival. What is that like, performing there?
I am very lucky that I got to go round to Michael Eavis / then became Emily Eavis's house and perform a show for their kids, Michael's grandkids, Emily's children. And I don't know if you've seen the video, but I just have a video on my website of Emily Eavis saying the best act she booked for Glastonbury this year was Captain Dan Tastic, which
fantastic.
Very kind of her to say, because boy, oh boy, did that help me over the years. It's a magical place to perform in any sense, because there's so many different ways to perform. I run a talent show for the bin painters every year, and some of those acts who were too shy to even speak in front of a crowd over the years would play a bit of music, would then go on to play on Westholt stage or on the poetry stage. And it's like the festival is this little breeding ground for talent, and it inspires people to like, oh, I think I might enjoy doing that. And I think without being there, without being in the action, without feeling that vibe, there's so many people who maybe never would have that creative spark lit. I think if you took the festival away in that kind of like, what's that film called? The one where the Beatles never happened.
Oh, Yesterday.
Yeah. they should make a film where Glastonbury never happened.
I love it. Yeah.
And just see what difference the world would make. Because I think there would be a huge difference. I think there would be so many changes throughout time if this festival had never happened.
Funny enough, last week we interviewed Robin, the director of the Glastonbury, the movie. I'll email him and say, listen, we've got an idea of our sleep here.
I'd be first in line to buy a ticket for that.
Oh, yeah, we all would be. We all would be. I love it. For people who have never been and considering coming to Glastonbury for the first time, what tips would you give them?
It really depends on where they are at in their life. If you're young, I would say bring some pop-up tents, practice putting them up and down before you get there, shucking together to get your booze, and then all have backpacks to spread the weight. I think that's a nice list of mistakes that most people make fixed in one go. If you're older, if you're a parent like me now, I've taken my children to 4 or 5 festivals, and it is such a different experience as a parent. And so many people say like, oh, Glastonbury is not family friendly, or I don't know how you could do it. And I just think Glastonbury is an incredible place to take a child. You just have to change what you're expecting of the festival. I've actually not had a drink in the last nearly 3 years because I quit drinking to support my wife when she was pregnant with our second child. And then I thought, I'll just keep going until I get to a year. And then I'll try to make it to 500 days. And now I want to make it to 1,000 days. Once I hit 1,000 days, I'm going to have a big drink.
You should have coincided it with Glastonbury.
Being sober at the festival, it's a bit tricky. You gotta really push your extroversion out. Mm-hmm. But once you crack it, once you get into the vibe, being sober, actually seeing it through sober eyes for the first time is amazing because you got way more energy. It's way easier being a parent sober than it is being a parent whilst trying to walk a fine line between 2 and uninebriated, and you're able to remember everything.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Bruce Springsteen, I know I went to see him and I remember a couple of songs, but I wish I remembered more of it.
I know what you mean. There's actually a Facebook group to all the listeners out there. If they are coming to Glastonbury and they want to stay sober, there is a Facebook group called Glastonbury Sober, I think, or Sober Glastonbury. You'll find it. So yeah, don't think you have to come to that festival and, drink all day long, because there's many people, just like Dan, who don't drink at the festival.
I've been to every Glastonbury since 2004, which is roughly 21, 22. And I was really wasted for like 20 of them. The last 2, I did sober. The 2 before, I did kind of just trying to keep it just a little bit messy. As a parent, you just can't go down that path. But honestly, it's not worse. It's just different. And if you embrace it, it's incredible in its very own way. A lot of people think you have to be wasted to enjoy the festival. And I think being sober will bring out probably a different side of you, and you'll appreciate that side, and you'll appreciate the festival in a completely different way.
I laughed that you said about make sure you try the pop-up tent a few times before actually getting to the festival, because my first Glastonbury, I took up a pop-up tent and I could never get that thing back down. Could put it up all right. We couldn't put it back down. We literally carried it to a car and just kind of shoved it in the back, and it was like over the people's heads in the back of my car. So yeah, now I've got a much bigger tent. So I don't take kids, but as I've got older, my tents have got bigger.
Oh, of course. We all start with a tent that's too small, and then you're like, oh, maybe a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit bigger. But like Decathlon and their Quechua pop-up tents, for us, Decathlon was like our holy ground. Like going there a month before the festival, and like, oh, what festival bits can we get from here? It only takes a couple of practices, and you could put the tent away in like 2 seconds. And they're really waterproof. They never leak.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a spokesman for Decathlon, but of all the tents I've slept in, they're the only ones that don't leak.
Finally, who would you love to see at Glastonbury? You might say Bruce to remember him next time.
I'd love to see Bruce again, don't get me wrong. And like everyone, Fleetwood Mac, Daft Punk, Eminem,
Oh, wow, yeah.
I'd be up for any of them. I think that's the most amazing thing about the festival. It's like, I go to the festival because I love the festival. The music is an added bonus.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've seen tens of thousands of pounds worth of gigs for free, because I'm not paid for them. I paid for the festival.
Yeah.
So they're just an added bonus over the years. And so I've seen all these bands I'd never pay to see Katy Perry, but I saw her and she was great. I never paid to see Dolly Parton, but Dolly Parton was incredible. For me, like the biggest one, the only one that I would love to see that I've never seen anyone say would be Paul McCartney and Ringo to join up to do like one last Beatles gig. Imagine.
Was you there? Was you there in 2 years ago, 2022?
Of course. And I was 2004.
Yeah. Well, that was your first. Yeah.
What a year to see it.
I know. 2022 was the only time I kind of camped near the front of that pyramid stage because I'm a major Beatles fan. And generally, I just never stay near the pyramid stage. Never mind near the front. But I says, I need a good spot for Paul McCartney. I've got to be in the thick of it. And what a magical night. When he did the video with John behind him and they were singing Two of Us. Oh, my God. Magical.
It really is. It really is. The pyramid stage is just an incredible stage, and it's had like the very best of every genre of music throughout the years. And as a Glastonbury lover, you're very lucky to have all of that spread out before you. Because some people complain that, like, I don't like the headliners. I'm like, it is a great year if you don't like the headliners, because it means you get to go do other things.
Exactly.
There are so many stages. And then outside of the music, there is so much else going on. So if you don't like the headliners, it's like amazing.
Yeah.
It gives you the freedom to go see the Arcadia show or go see what's happening in like the naughty corner around that time, because crazy stuff is happening everywhere.
That's exactly what I say. Last year, I think, was the year I explored the most because I wasn't really too bothered about the headliners and I was running around doing all the other things that I keep missing out on. Sometimes I look at that line, I'm going, please not be brilliant. Please not be brilliant.
I know. Every year they announce, I'm like, oh no, it's all amazing music. How annoying.
So true. People listening to us be like, what the hell are they on about? But if you know, you know.
100%.
Brilliant, mate. That's been so good chatting to you. I mean, we could go on for another 2 hours. I think, we both love the festival so much. But thanks for coming on and explaining how you got the name and explaining how you got married down there and explaining about the bin initiative.
Nice to speak to all of you people out there in Podland, and hope you have a good Glastonbury.
Brilliant.
Good Lord. Now, there is a man who loves Glastonbury Festival.
Oh, man. It was like talking to myself, but on another scale. Like, well, he changed his name. He proposed there, got married. He does weddings there and performs and paints bins. How does this guy have the energy? What a brilliant, brilliant guest.
Folks, if you're new to Glastonbury, maybe you've never been, maybe you're tuning into the podcast to learn a little bit about the magic that happens down on Worthy Farm. I think a perfect example of just how magical it is that sometimes people propose next to bins. It's not like a temple. They're not proposing next to structures, or they're not proposing on top of a hill. They're proposing next to bins. This is a magical, magical place.
It is. I can't think of any other festival, any other place, to be fair, that would have this devotion. And that's why, I'm doing this podcast with you and I wrote my book, because after being there for 20 odd years, I know how special this place is. And I want all you new people to come and experience that for yourself.
Looking forward, guys. We have got some amazing new shows, some amazing new guests. We got loads of information we want to share with you. Things like bands that have never played, things like everything at Glastonbury that isn't the music, things like how to get into Glastonbury for free. That's all coming up. But until then, Paul, as always, a pleasure, mate. Speak to you soon.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks for listening, everyone. And once again, thanks for all the lovely feedback you've sent us. And I hope to see some of you on my bar crawl on the farm next year.